Good morning. Let's go back in time to 2009. Barack Obama is the new president of the United States, and he is determined to build a green energy industry in the U.S. Obama's signature law was called the Economic Recovery Act. It was a huge economic stimulus, and it included a lot of money for green energy technology. It provided for a 30% tax credit and put over $2 billion of new government investment into about 200 advanced energy manufacturers. The Economic Recovery Act passed in 2009. In 2010, Obama went to Solyndra, which was one of the companies subsidized by Obama's law. He predicted there that the U.S. share of solar panel production would more than double, from 5% to over 10%. But Solyndra went bankrupt soon thereafter, $500 million gone, and they stopped the program. We never got 10%. Here is a chart that shows solar panel production by megawatt over time. The black line is China, the blue line is the United States, and it's almost as if Obama's speech didn't seem to matter very much at all. Things started to fall apart for the companies right away, and President Obama decided to raise tariffs against China. In 2012, he put tariffs of 249% on most of the imports from China. Manufacturers moved some of their assembly out of China, but just went to other countries in Southeast Asia instead. If this sounds familiar, it should. Here's what they said about those tariffs in 2012. Commerce Department's decision on tariffs gives our industry the chance to reclaim footing. President of Solar World Industries America. So the range of tariffs here, 18% on Trina Solar, 31% more later on Trina. Here are some other examples. SunTech tariff was 31%, 59%. Chinese companies had import tariffs of 26%, and all the other Chinese producers were levied 250% import tariffs. That was supposed to help our own US companies get their groove back. But then China retaliated, and they raised tariffs of polysilicon. At the time, the United States made polysilicon, shipped it to China, where Chinese foundries turned the polysilicon into ingots, could be used in solar panels. But those retaliatory tariffs that China put on the US polysilicon blew up our polysilicon industry. The United States formerly had 50% market share globally, and today it's less than 5%. A disaster for US brands, says Bloomberg Solar Guy. Now we're at present day with a new president and a new plan for green energy, a new law, new giant pools of money to spread around, and now those are falling apart too. They were hopeful in the beginning. Here's a report they put out, and you'll notice the word announced a lot. New projects being announced. Since the beginning, $473 billion in energy investments announced. 152 announced. $4.5 billion in savings announced. Here's a map with all the things that were announced. Here's a chart that tracks those announcements. Again, this report is from last August, 2023. It wasn't that long ago, but what a difference 9 months can make. Manufacturers have decided not to go through with many of them. Billions of dollars of investments promised, and there are incentives in the Inflation Reduction Act, and those resulted in a lot of announcements and a lot of hope. But manufacturers are slowing down their plans now. They're waiting for new government money, new clarity on policy, and there are some examples here. Enel Spa in Oklahoma, there's that word again, announced, but construction still hasn't started. In Texas, Mission Energy, they built the building but haven't installed any equipment yet or hired anybody. No idea when they will open. Cubic in Massachusetts, they were going to make solar wafers and they just gave up. In Minnesota, Hellien's slowing down, may install half of capacity in 2025 instead of all of it this year. So President Biden is now in the same jam that President Obama found himself in. And Joe Biden just put on new tariffs for Chinese solar panels. Biden's tariffs are 50%. Remember that Obama's tariffs were 249%, 5 times what Biden did this week. And those didn't move the needle any. President Bush tried to do it in 2005. President Obama tried it in 2009. President Biden is trying it now. Subsidies, tariffs, and lots of announcements about how this time, under this new president, this is really going to be different. This time we're really going to be a world leader in solar panels. And this time they announced that these tariffs will not be inflationary. And we're pretty sure that the Chinese won't retaliate somehow and just take over another industry that the United States is a leader in. Really going to be different this time. Chinese hot pot. Have a nice night. Be good.
Can serve 2 masters. You cannot serve God and money. So do not be worried about your life, what you will eat, or what you'll drink, or what you'll wear. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you.